Hey, what's up guys? It's Jakeem the Nerdy Python coming at you with more Mandalorian talk. Here's my spoilers review for Episode 4 titled The Sanctuary. So guys, I'll start off by saying this. This definitely wasn't the most action-packed episode we've had so far, but I still highly enjoyed it because of its difference in terms of visuals to the others, and I was very surprised that Bryce Dallas Howard herself was the director. In the opening scene, we get a glimpse of this peaceful planet called Sorgon and learn that one of his villages have been recently under attack by these bandits, which sets up the entire plot as both Baby Yoda and Mando head there to escape the bounty on their head. I really enjoyed the whole set of this episode and how the people of Sorgon dressed in various shades of gray and blue to match this environment, which is a whole new take on the series so far. And there's this score that plays throughout that really just further evokes this feeling of peace and tranquility. When Mando and Baby Yoda get there, they head to this tavern where Mando spots Gina Carano's character sitting at the table opposite them, and if I'm not mistaken, her name is actually Cara Dune. Mando tries to ask the waiter when she arrived, and the waiter replies by saying that she's been coming for the past week, and by the time the waiter left, Gina Carano's just up and disappeared out of nowhere, causing Mando to head out and look for her. He finally catches up to her when she ambushes him from behind, and they get into this well-choreographed MMA fight that ends with them both on the ground, blasters pointed at one another, and interrupted by Baby Yoda slurping on soup, which I thought was a very cool and funny way to introduce her character. Back at the tavern, she reveals to him that she's an ex-shock trooper also there for an escape, and pretty much says to him that unless he wants to go for a round two, that he and Baby Yoda skip town, so the two of them head back to the ship that same night. As Mando and Baby Yoda are boarding the ship and getting ready to head off planet, they're interrupted by these two men from the village in the opening scene that, number one, are surprised to even see a Mandalorian, and two, try to hire him for a job, which he first refuses, but they somehow guilt trip him into giving him a ride back, which just shows how human Mando is. I also got to throw out the fact that Mando's finally expressing his intimacy towards Baby Yoda, and there was a scene before they got to the planet where he actually picked him up and interacted with him like a child, which I thought was just so adorable. On their way to the village, Mando also recruits Cara Dune to join in the mission, and they get there the following morning and meet Omera, who's played by Julia Jones, aka Leah Clearwater from Twilight, and also her daughter Winter. There's these moments of dialogue between Mando and Julia Jones where there's nothing romantically or sexually implied, but I still couldn't help but thinking to myself, damn Mando, you got a chance, man, you better take it, because I sure as hell would, but then again, that's just me. It's also revealed in these conversations that Mando is not a real Mandalorian, and that he was actually rescued by them as a boy and just sort of took on their ways and customs, which kind of disappointed me because I wanted him to be a full-blood badass, but it also opens the door to possibilities because for all we know, the Mandalorians can be a race of aliens that just lived in full body armor. When Mando and Cara find out about the bandits and Imperial Walker raiding the villagers, they try to convince them to go elsewhere, but the villagers insist on staying and learning how to fight, so Mando and Cara train them and come up with a plan to draw the enemy out. In this plan, Mando and Cara would run point by infiltrating the enemy base and creating the distraction that would lead them back to the village where the bandits could be easily picked off one by one, and the Walker would go down by trying to cross the terrain, which I thought was very badass and really reminded me of the old school Rebel Star Wars. So we get a bit of a montage of Mando and Cara training the villagers to fight and learn that Omera can actually shoot, and I was really digging that part where Mando's watching her hit a target and he's just kind of like, well damn girl, who taught you how to shoot? On the night of the attack, Mando and Cara head to the enemy camp and take out the guys on patrol before heading inside to plant explosives. When they get inside, they come across these weird glowing incubator type pods, and they soon get discovered and have to pretty much fight their way out before the bombs go off, and that whole scene was just so intense as they fight against the most overwhelming odds. Only after they narrowly escape, the place just goes up in flames right behind them, and sure enough, out comes the Imperial Walker, so they head back to the village to regroup with the others. Back at the village, there's all-out war, and the villagers are surprisingly holding their own against the bandits, and I don't know if I was fully convinced that they'd be able to do so, only having a day of prior experience and training, but hell, that's just me. Cara comes up with the plan and takes Mando's pulse rifle to the mouth of the pond and pulls directly underneath the Walker to try to take him out, and after a few bad shots, she finally nails him and he just comes tumbling down. Mando then follows up with a grenade, and after seeing their big gun go down, the bandits surrender and abandon their campaign, which pretty much ends the battle and spells another win for the good guys. So the following day, Omera offers to show Mando something inside, which he refuses, and it honestly kind of had me wondering. But then she left and he and Cara start talking, and Cara asks him something about the helmet. She asks him what happens if he takes the helmet off, and he tells her that once he takes it off, he can never put it back on. And then even she's kind of like, dude, you mean to tell me you can settle down and have a peaceful life with this widow and you won't take it? What the hell's wrong with you? And I'm just Like, I completely agree with you on that. They also decide that it's best they both leave Sorgon without Baby Yoda, given that he'd be happier there. And as Omera and Mando talk it out, we get a very close call attempt on Baby Yoda's life as a gunner hides off somewhere in the woods. And I'm like, you effing coward, you deserve what you got. So this causes Mando to rethink his plan, knowing that Baby Yoda's probably still safer in his hands. And the episode ends with them heading away from the village and saying goodbye. And because of the close bond that they made with these characters, we already know they're going to return sooner or later. So that's it for my spoilers review of episode 4 of The Mandalorian. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I didn't miss anything. If you did, be sure to let me know by like, commenting, and subscribing, and make sure you tap that bell for notifications. There's also links to my social media posted down in the description below. And as always, Nerdy Python is out of here.